And in fact, straight away, let's start with a mega Times Now news break that we are getting for our viewers at this point in time. Times Now has accessed the call data records of Rhea Chakraborty. Now, this proves that she received and called more associates than Sushant Singh Rajput himself. Times Now analysis reveals that she got more calls from her ex-manager Shruti Modi and Sushant's manager Samuel Miranda. We will quickly show you that those call record details as well that Times Now has gained access to. In fact, yesterday we also broke similar call data records of Sushant Singh Rajput's phone. Today, take a look at these call data records that we have from Rhea Chakraborty's records, and what we have is that in fact in these call records more number of calls have been made to other associates including Shruti Modi, Shouvik Chowdhury who is her brother, Samuel Miranda, but as far as Sushant is concerned, barely any calls have been made to him. This is in fact the call data record that we have gained access to, you know, in fact, this clearly goes on to show the kind of contact level that Rhea Chakraborty had with Sushant himself. There is a call here made to Siddharth Pithani as well. And in fact, in these records, we can also see the details which have been accessed by your channel. Incoming and outgoing calls. And, you know, this is what these records really suggest. This is page 2 of the call data records. Once again, no call really on this page as well to Sushant's phone number. Go ahead and in fact, you can see for yourself the other details. We are talking about the aspect that calls were almost nil when it came to Sushant Singh Rajput. I'm going to toss it over quickly to my colleague Meghna, who's joining me from the Newspit now. Meghna, over to you if you can help us understand these call data records.
Well, here on Times Now, Preeti, what we've decided is that we must get our viewers concrete proof, hard facts and data's records which are actually going to sift through the fact and fiction. It's not rhetorical. What we've managed to access yesterday, of course, we got our viewers complete list of call data records from Sushant Singh Rajput's phones. Today we bring for our viewers the entire CDR records, the call data records of Rhea Chakraborty. So the topmost number here is that of Indrajit Chakraborty. He's of course her father. The number of incoming calls from her father were 203, I've circled it here, and 660 is the number of outgoing calls. The total number of calls to her father of this number is 820. Later on again you can see Indrajit Chakraborty which is coming in again. He's got two numbers, one is from two different call agencies, and the number of calls here is 232. You add the two of them, it's about 1,100 and 222, so over 1,100 calls to her father alone. Then the second person that she called the most was her brother, Shouvik Chakraborty. The number of incoming calls from him was 243. The number of outgoing is 629. Total number of calls here to her family members, as you can see, to the brother was 886. We are also getting you whom all she had called in addition to her brother and her father. That is Shruti Modi, who is one of the aides. Then there is Sandy Chakraborty, who is one of her cousins. There is Samuel Miranda, who is one of the aides as well. Also the former manager of Sushant Singh Rajput. He incidentally was also managing the house. He's been questioned by the police as well. This is the second number of her father. In addition to that, this is the important one. This is the number of calls that Rhea Chakraborty made to Sushant Singh Rajput. And this is where it gets really interesting, Preeti, because here you can see the number of incoming calls from Sushant's phone to hers was 51. Outgoing calls was 94. And the total number of calls is 147. So this is the one which is very important. This is the number of calls which were made to SSR, Sushant Singh Rajput and Rhea. Only 147 calls were made between the two of them. Surprisingly, over 1,000 calls to her father, 886 to her brother, which of course is understandable, they are family. But what's interesting is that when you look at Shruti Modi, one of the aides, she made 808 calls to Shruti Modi. She made as many as 537 calls to Sandy Chakraborty.
Now,
these are some interesting figures. If you were to take a look at the call data records that